We're here today to talk about the downfall of Sanji's character, somebody who used to be way up here, but now, if you ask me, in my personal opinion, he's down here. It's something I've been thinking about for months. I gotta have this as an outlet for me to explain my grievances. Remember the days of East Blue, when Sanji was badass? In almost every situation you had Sanji in, you knew that was somebody you could trust. Oh, Luffy and Zoro aren't here for this fight? That's okay. We've got Sanji. We're basically saved. That's what would go through my head. A little 18, 17-year-old hunter would see Sanji and his worries would be gone like that. I'd have no worries about who was going to come out on top in that fight. I would quite literally put him on par, like the same level as both Luffy and Zoro. And now there's no question, like he's not even close to that level anymore. I feel like as we've progressed through the story, his character has been turned into more of like a joke character, like a comedic relief character, you know, which is fine, I guess. You've already got Usopp, Nami, and now Chopper has joined them too, right? I already have enough screen time watching the anime. It cuts from a really good scene, like I'm at the edge of my seat, and it cuts away to just that trio running away screaming. And then now they added Sanji into it as well, because then it'll cut to another scene then of him not being able to fight a woman. I have a theory, and part of me thinks my distaste for Sanji is almost completely the fault of Toei Animation. I don't know if this is true, but I read somewhere, remember in Wano, Marco was like, here comes the star, and Zoro came out of nowhere and looked like a complete badass, right? I didn't look at the manga because I'm lazy and I didn't want to, right? I'm completely going off of like two people's words that I read online. That's the smart thing to do, right? That's not what happened in the manga. In the manga, Marco said, here come the stars. Here come the stars. Like plural. Stars. Sanji and Zoro rush out and kick some ass, right? That's what I heard happened in the manga. You know, and I'm not against it because Zoro is my favorite character. I love that guy. But they were only gassing him up in that scene. And then Zoro rushed out and kicked ass. And then I think we had to wait like another episode or two. So like a full week, if not more. And then Sanji came rushing out to also kick some ass. Alright, this is Hunter in editing. I went to go rewatch the episode I'm talking about here just to make sure I wasn't talking out of my ass. And lo and behold, I was. Definitely, I think they put more emphasis on Zoro. Here comes the star, and it's just him for like a minute. But then Sanji does come through in the same episode. Like, they didn't have to wait a week or two. It was the same episode. In fact, it wasn't even very long after Zoro came out, where Sanji was also coming out to kick ass with him. So just thought I'd clear it up here, though. I still think they gave more spotlight to Zoro. It wasn't as bad as I made it seem talking in this video here. Toei, what are you doing? Part of me also thinks that in the manga, there is no way that Sanji spends as much time as we see him in the anime, just like making goo-goo eyes at women, right? Please, there's no way. Please just tell me that they're just not insanely faithful to the source material. Please. It's like every time the animators don't know what to do next, they just put in a clip of Sanji seeing some attractive lady walk by. Next, he's got like that big cartoony like hearts for eyes popping out. Auga. Unfortunately, that is what his character has been made into. He's more than that. This guy literally got some of the best backstory out of all of the One Piece crew members. And you can disagree with me on that, and that's alright. In my opinion, he's got one of, if not the most complex backstories we've seen yet. And, you know, I'm sure there's more as, like, we get into post-Egghead with, like, Elbaf. The amount of backstory we've gotten for Sanji, I feel like does not translate to the amount of good screen time that he gets. He went for a long-ass time stranded on a rock. And the other homie who was posted up next to him, only way he survived was by eating his own leg. Insane start to somebody's backstory. And now he's just insanely girl crazy. And every time he sees a woman, he gets a nosebleed. Huh? There were moments when I thought his character was finally being redeemed. When we were in Whole Cake, I respected his character a lot more in Whole Cake. It's not like he's just going crazy over every woman he sees. He thought he found like his true love, which first off, great job. We love to see it. I'm sorry she turned out to be a complete bitch. But also, they gave you even more backstory with this guy. He's part of this insane family. He, like, rejects this family because of how they treated him, yada yada. Once again, you learn so much about Sanji, and it's like, hell yeah! and you start to like the guy again. And then the icing on the cake, almost like right after that, he fights Page One. He had to use his family's Germa powers in order to beat Page One. You know, I thought there was so much character development just in that fight alone. The fact that he was willing to use those powers, oh my god, I thought Sanji was saved. In my mind right now, tell me why I can't remember anything else that Sanji did up until he fights Black Maria, who was a woman, by the way. He doesn't fight woman. That was like a whole 5-6 episodes of him being helpless and just letting a woman punch him. That's what we're doing to Sanji. I think it was also a nice way for him to like show a little bit of development, like not being scared to call on his friends for help, because then he's like, hey Robin, I don't do that. I don't hit women. You kick anybody's ass. Come help me. Robin, by the way, standing on business. But why did we need like 5 episodes of Sanji just being helpless? I feel like you could have explained everything that was happening in one. Hey, this is a woman. I don't like hitting women. Somebody come help me fight this woman for me, please. See how I did that? What was that, 5 seconds? I understand the whole, like, the anime has to move a bit slower because we're trying to keep pace with the manga. I can understand it. That you're gonna have some scenes that are in the anime that weren't on any panels in the manga, because that's just how they gotta pace things along. I'm gonna be for real. I think I'm sick and tired of seeing where they just gotta put some filler. They got to put some filler type of scene in there to string out the episode. I'm sick and tired of seeing Nami and Usopp and Chopper screaming and running away from an enemy. It was funny at first, you know, like, oh, ha, 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 but not... It's just not even funny anymore because it's done so often. And 2, stop showing me scenes of Sanji goo eyes over other women. That is all I can think of now when I think of Sanji. Whatever happened to like AMV Sanji? Like, whatever happened to that Sanji? In Skypiea, he literally took a blast, like, to the face of pure lightning, like electricity to the face. And then after the smoke cleared, he literally was just like, thanks, my cigarette needed a light. That is so cool! That is so cool! Now that I'm saying it out loud and thinking about it, I think a lot of these problems mainly just stemmed from after the time skip. Khalifa, when they were fighting Cypher Pole 9, he went up against her and fought her, but and he would have kicked ass, by the way. Every time he went to land a punch, he like hesitated and stopped and then was like, hey, if I would have followed through with that punch, you would have died. Just saying. Dodges a few more per attacks and then hey, you would have just died 2 times now, by the way. He never hit her, but it was still badass in a way, because you're like, oh, he's bragging how many times he could have opened up a can of whoop ass. Where's that now? Now it's just quite literally every time he sees a woman, he just falls to the ground. The first arc after the time skip, everybody has these insane new powers. Sanji didn't have anything new up until he fought Queen, and then we saw Ifrit Jumbo. I'd also like to say that was another point in time when I thought Sanji's character was saved. When he was realizing that, like, oh my god, maybe I'm more like my rejected family than I'd like to believe. What am I becoming? And he beats Queen. Almost brought tears to my eyes. Like, I was watching those few episodes, like, glued to the screen. Tell me why, though, in the back of my mind, I'm still worried that they're just gonna go back making goo eyes at everybody. Do y'all remember Sanji on Fishman Island? There was an entire plot point around not letting him see the Mermaid Queen. They went underwater to, like, the city of Atlantis. They just didn't want Sanji to meet the Mermaid Queen, the person that they were trying to save, because they were worried Sanji was gonna get too horny and die from a nosebleed. You take such a beloved character, somebody who's got the world ahead of them, and you squander it. Is this Toei Animation's fault, or is this Oda's fault? Or is it a little bit of both? In my opinion, he's kind of like the Rock Lee of Naruto. He has so much potential, and then you just don't do anything with him. My old college roommate was watching East Blue, right? I'm already completely caught up with the show. I walked into the room one day after classes, and he was watching One Piece. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you're getting into the show. I hope you love it. And he goes, you know who my favorite character is right now? What? You know, who is it? Oh, this is so cool. Who's your favorite character? And he goes, Sanji. It took everything in me to just be like, oh, that's so cool, man. Good for you. It almost felt like I was looking at the scenario behind a looking glass, and I was like pounding on the glass, like, no, don't do this. Literally anybody else, no. Oh God. I didn't have the guts to tell him that his favorite character gets less cool as the series progresses. To end it off, I guess I've been rambling on for long enough. To end it, I just wish Sanji didn't tank. I wish they did his character a little bit better. And now, instead of being badass, he's just somebody who's got like no self-control when it comes to women. And it's really sad. He has his moments. He has his really cool moments. But there's just so many other moments of like, sometimes it's just hard to justify. If you stayed this long, I appreciate it. Hope you like and subscribe. And as always, I will see you next time. Peace.